Good morning, everybody. We are getting ready again as we chat. So today I specifically want to talk about this idea of custom programming or getting hand-delivered, perfectly tailored programs to your goals, enjoyment, and equipment. This is actually a service that I offer, but this video is not a plug for my services. If anything, probably didn't think this through because I'm going to talk you out of it. Stay with me here. All right, so obviously like the benefit of doing something like that is it's tailored to you. But I've actually found since I started offering this service in January, it's provided a really nice balance of both internal and external motivation or accountability. You know, working with a lot of people one-on-one, either in person or like in a live Zoom session, that's way more external accountability because these people know that I'm waiting for them on the other end. Whereas with this option, you have to do the workouts on your own. So that's your internal accountability, but you know that I'm checking your homework, external accountability. But when people hear about custom programming, I think that it falls into this trend of optimization. I get a lot of people inquiring about it who are basically like, I need something that's so specific to me. But then I dig a little bit deeper and it's someone who's general population who actually has no system of movement or has stuck to any type of routine in years. And to those people, I'm going to explain to you why I don't believe you need something that is completely custom tailored to you. Before we keep going, if you've never been here before, hello, my name's Justina. I'm a New York City based personal trainer who loves explaining how your body works. Pretty freaking simple. If you're not subscribed yet, I would love for you to do so. I have a very lofty goal of trying to hit 100,000 followers by the end of the year, so clock's ticking, everybody. All right, so let's take an example of someone who's brand new to training. Like I already said, this is something that happens in my DMs on Instagram a lot. I'll have someone message me who has no consistent movement routine right now, and they haven't for years. They'll break down a bunch of different goals they have, their background, any injuries, their obstacles, just kind of like lay it all out on the table. And I do find that quite often these people are looking for like the perfect fit or the perfect program for everything that they just said to me. They're looking for a program that's going to work on every single goal they have: strength, endurance, power, weight loss, muscle growth. When in reality, I don't think they need a program that's a perfect fit for them at all at this stage. If you have no consistent movement routine right now, the only recommendation I'm going to give you is to choose the thing that you're the most excited about. That's it. I don't care about the workout split. I don't care about your goals. I don't even care if it's strength-based. Because here's the thing you enjoy is the thing that will stick. The thing you enjoy is the thing that will get the ball rolling. The thing you enjoy is the thing that builds the foundation of a lifetime of movement, because that's the goal, right? That is the baseline that we should be setting here when jumping into a routine, not the optimal program for you. Because really at the end of the day, the optimal program for you when you're just starting out is the one you'll actually do. So let's continue with this example and just kind of start to build out like a consistent movement routine based on something you enjoy. And we're going to use baby Justina as an example. I got to make sure these look like sisters and not cousins first though. Give me a sec. All right, so a little bit of background here. I did not grow up playing sports super competitively. I did play softball until high school, but I was much more into like theater and dance. So I really didn't get any type of exposure to formal exercise, especially if we're talking about like strength training. When I did exercise in my 20s or like early 20s, it was there's nothing wrong with running on the treadmill. I do that a lot right now, but it was a different mindset. It was just very like, how many calories can I burn? So, you know, that whole thing. So when I actually started to get interested in like dabbling in exercise and fitness, this was in 2017. And it was my first time doing anything really outside of like cardio or like bar and sculpt, where I'd never picked up anything heavier than like 3 pounds. So that's definitely later in life than most people. In 2017, I was 28. I'm 36. It hadn't been that long. It hasn't been long at all. And in all honesty, the reason I wanted to get into actually like lifting weights and learning a little bit more about strength training is because we were getting married and I wanted like muscle definition for the wedding. I had an aesthetic goal. It's okay. Now, not only did I not know how to go about that, I also had no idea what I liked. So I did end up joining ClassPass. I think ClassPass is still around, but it's not as big as it used to be. But if you guys remember, like, especially if you were in a major city like New York or probably LA, like San Francisco and stuff, do you remember like early ClassPass days? It was one of those things where I think we all collectively knew this business model will not last. Let's take advantage of it. So yeah, I joined ClassPass, and this gave me the opportunity to take all different types of classes, rowing classes, HIIT classes, strength classes. And it started to give me the opportunity to figure out what I really enjoyed and what I didn't, what I was excited about. At the time too, this is a much larger story. You get the whole lore of all the jobs that I've had in New York City when we hit 100K. So that's another reason to subscribe. But at this time I was working as a walking tour guide in New York City. So I was a licensed tour guide. I would give tours all over the city in different neighborhoods. I worked at a children's theater program at 2 different locations, and I was still auditioning actively. I was phasing out, but I was still auditioning. But I tell you that because I was always in different neighborhoods, so that also was like the exciting part. I was like, ooh, not only do I get to try a new style of movement in a new studio, I get to visit a new neighborhood. So I knew, to me, that new and shiny was what got me excited, so I leaned the fuck into that. I think you've got to build the foundation of fun to really learn how to make it stick. You know, once I had that foundation, I slowly over the years started to choose things that were more optimal, or just like more in the guidelines of the basic health recommendations of 2 to 3 strength workouts a week, and then, you know, our cardio recommendations as well. So for you, the person who doesn't have a movement routine established yet, I just encourage you to not overthink it. You could literally, if you have no movement routine right now, you could literally take random group fitness classes for a year and you would be so much better off than where you started. Because think about what you're getting there. Like, let's say it's like an Orange Theory type class, right? Yeah, it's not like true strength training. That's a topic for another video, but you're starting to get exposed to some weights. You're starting to get exposed to all of these different movements. You get exposed to different cardiovascular elements. And if you do a year of that, oh my God, you're gonna be so much better off than where you started. And then from there, we can keep the Orange Theory if you enjoy it, but maybe we do it once a week as a fun cherry on top, and then 1 or 2 times a week, we start to transition into actual strength training. Literally pick anything that excites you and do that. And look, let's go back to what this whole video started as. Maybe the custom programming thing or the tailored programming, maybe that is what excites you. Amazing. Again, I offer that. Other coaches offer that. I do have a number of people who have never strength trained before or have fallen out of the routine, and working with me and having that kind of half and half accountability, internal versus external, has been a game changer for them. So I'm not saying that like that's a bad option if you don't have a movement routine, but I want to make it clear it's not the only option, because I have found by talking to a lot of people, they think that because they have this injury or they have this preference or this equipment or whatever the reason is, they need something exclusively programmed to them. And 9 times out of 10, you probably don't. Now, if you need a little bit more context on how to actually start to implement whatever you've chosen to start your movement routine, that's a different video. I might have already made something that can help you. I do have a whole like goal setting playlist. Goal setting? What is that? You sit on your goals? Jesus. Goal setting playlist, so I will link that right here. But as always, I am always happy to help brainstorm in the comments of this video. So if you have a specific question about implementation, you're always welcome to leave it below and I will do my best to help. So that is the video, everybody. Let me know your thoughts down below. I feel like this video at surface level is doing me a disservice because I'm talking you out of one of the you know, options that I offer in my business. But this video is not about selling a product to you. This video is about helping you realize that when you're trying to get started, it can be a lot simpler than you're making it. And hopefully that gives you less of an obstacle to jump over to start to build out your own system. So as always, if you have any questions, please leave them down below. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos, and I will see you in the next one.